Good afternoon. How's it going, brother? How are you, man?
What's going on, brother? Hang on, let me. Oh, there it is. Okay, I had a double feed. No worries, we got it. How are you, man?
I'm doing amazing, man. It's a great day to be alive. Every day is a great day to be alive. I'm very excited to be on today. I could sit here and tell people that we're under construction with a new studio in New York, but that's not really true.
You can say it; nobody would know.
But we are always reinventing ourselves for sure. How are you, bro?
Yeah, I'm fine. I woke up to my exercise in the morning. It's 55
Dang.
degrees.
Football weather.
55 degrees.
Mhm.
I had to go get back and get not a sweater, but what do we call them? A pullover. And I wouldn't have even worn that, but I still need to get a good sweat going. But man, it was finally the boys and I, meaning our two little dogs and I, went outside and said, "This is what we're looking for." So hey,
that's awesome weather to run with. Yeah.
Before we get too far, I got a little surprise for you. I got a little guest, so indulge me for 1 second if you don't mind.
Okay.
This is what we're looking for. Hey, that's awesome weather. Before we get too far, I got a little surprise for you. Got a little guest. So indulge me for 1
Happy birthday, brother!
Dang, thanks, man.
Hey, your job's gonna be to guess
Absolutely.
who just play those chords.
Oh man, is that from Guns N' Roses?
Absolutely, Slash, the great Slash. Good
Yep.
guess. Good guess.
Absolutely, no, man. There's nobody like Slash. Hey, man, I got a quick story for you.
Yeah.
So this morning, this little gadget right here. Okay,
Mhm.
we all know how important it is to our lives. Unfortunately, it shouldn't be that important, but so this morning I wake up and the darn thing is frozen. That's how
Oh, the phone.
working.
Yeah, of course it is.
My phone. And and I know how important it is to everybody. Everybody knows I'm a realtor. I do real estate, so it's kind of like our lifeline.
Yeah.
We live or die by our cell phone, and we do most of our work off the cell phone.
Yeah.
And it was crazy, man. I said, what a way to start my birthday this morning. But you know what? I didn't exactly how our show says, for every problem, there's an opportunity. So I thought this is my opportunity to learn how to fix this darn thing. I think what happened is
Put it in rice.
I think what happened is
Charge it.
this mammoth company that built these phones, I think
Yeah.
they came up with a new model, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah. I know what
And
company you're talking about.
Yep, and everybody tells me that every time there's a new model that comes out, then all the other phones kind of get hijacked. So I think that's what happened. But here's the good news. I got into Google and I fixed the darn thing. It's back working, man. So that's the best thing it happened to me this morning, man. It's great. But it's great to be back, man. It's great to see you.
It's great to be back. We have a Cowboys win, even if it was only by 3 points. And if it was from a kicker we didn't trust from the week before, and even though everybody thinks it's still not true, everything's great. I mean, we're riding into October, which is my favorite month. It's the only month with all four sports: football, baseball, hockey, and basketball. If the schedules stay in this COVID era, but also just the weather, man. I'm telling you, when I went out this morning, I just took a deep breath, and Mr. Dak
awesome.
Back there behind you.
And in Dak we trust.
In Dak we trust, brother. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we got great. It's been a while. We're going to admit that. We're going to apologize. We learned that there's an ebb and flow for these shows. And, it's been a while. It's been a few weeks since we've been on, which is all right. August is busy with the end of vacations and kids going back to school, and especially ever more in this COVID era, where we didn't know what was going to happen. So, but here we are. We have an opportunity. We have a great guest. It's going to be fun. So with that, my name is Javier, and we are Problems.
And my name is Jorge, and Opportunities.
Folks, we, as I just said, we have been away for a while, but we thank you, those of you who have tuned in to listen to this great episode. It's just, sometimes that's just the way it goes. But I wanted to tell you about our podcast. We named it Problems and Opportunities because a while back, both of us have life-changing, let's just say, careers. And someone told me that from problems come opportunities. And I didn't, know how to believe that. I didn't know how to understand that. But as the years went along, thankfully, I understood it. And so we really did see how that comes into our lives, whether it's business, personal, whatever. There really are lots of opportunities from all the problems we face. And so we try to, week to week, hasn't been the case recently, but we try to bring you people who will express that in their life stories, and they're from all walks of life. So that's the theme of our podcast. We're certainly excited. And as you remember, it's just not my brother and I, talking into the microphone, but we also have Israel Nakada, my nephew, my brother's son, who is our producer. The song you heard in the beginning, any of the graphics, any of the art, he is behind all of that. He and I got to say, if you don't follow him on Instagram, you're missing out, because not only did he release his own songs, his own record earlier this year, but he continues to provide videos. I know he just got a drum kit. And so anyway, make sure and find him and follow him. But he is our producer tonight. So we want to welcome everyone to the show tonight, who's listening live and who will listen later.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you so much for that introduction. I am also very, very excited for today's show. You guys will see in a minute why I'm so excited. But I think, like my brother said, our theme every time we have this is, how can we bring opportunities from problems, and not necessarily big problems, small problems, just in general. Sometimes telling our story may hit home with other people, right? So we always enjoy doing this and talking to our guest. But today, before I get to introduce my guest, we're gonna play 2 videos here to kind of give you an idea of who we're talking about today. Mr. Producer, can you play the videos for us, por favor? So now you guys can see why I'm very excited for today's show. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm a lifelong Dallas Cowboy fan. But I am, guys, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very excited. When I first found out that one of the dancers, I think it's actually 2, but for the purpose of tonight's show, one of the dancers is actually here from El Paso, and she's made it professionally to the NFL. To my Dallas Cowboys, of all things, right? And before I continue to introduce them, we always ask our guests to give us, we either have a first call with them to introduce ourselves, talk about, some of the things that are going to happen in the podcast. We always ask them for a bio for sure. We also going to have the dancer. So her name is Ariel Adriana Griego, and then we're going to have her mom, Joanna Lopez. Joanna is the one that sent us the bio, and it was just a very profound, very, very deep bio. And one of the things that really stood out when I was, when I was reading through it, I couldn't help but think, man, so synonymous with the theme of our podcast. But one of the things that her mom, Joanna, lives by is don't look at the disability, focus on the ability. And she'll tell us a little more about, what's behind that. I know it's based a lot, in what she does for a living. But ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce tonight to our podcast, Ariel and Joanna. Good afternoon, ladies. How you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Great, guys.
Doing very well.
Hi.
So
Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Thank you for taking the time to be with us.
Yes. By the way, George, happy birthday.
Thank you. I mean, everything fell in line. Where it's my birthday, we're having a podcast, we're talking Cowboys, talking to a professional dancer. I mean, it's all great. So Ariel, Griego, she's I'm gonna look at my notes here because I don't want to mess this up. It's very important. But she's a professional dancer for the and a professional NFL dancer for the Dallas Cowboys Rhythm and Blue Hip Hop Co-ed team. Did I get it right?
Yes, you did.
I always called it that. I'm sorry.
Rhythm and Blue dance team. Yes.
Rhythm and Blue dance. You know, first time I saw you was last year at the stadium because you all dance every home stadium, right?
Yes, you were there at a game.
I was there I'm sorry, 2 years ago. Sorry. Okay. I was there when for the Thanksgiving game when the Cowboys played the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, okay.
George, were you aware of the dance team or no?
I was aware because of how big of a fan I am. So every time I'm at the stadium, I'm always very cognizant to look at my surroundings and check out everything. And I could see him at the second level on one of the end zones dancing and beating that drum. And I thought, man, that's great. Yeah. I mean, there's a special love for the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, but I think you guys it's just different. It's a different experience.
That's what I was going to ask you. Did you know a difference from the cheerleaders and the dancers? Were you kind of confused of, who's that? They're wearing leggings and...
That's a great question. Initially, I did think it was the same group. I thought part of the cheerleaders were the same ones dancing in this Rhythm and Blue. And then but like I said, when I saw the cheerleaders doing their thing before the game, like pregame, and when I saw you guys dancing like outside the stadium and doing all this, great stuff. And then, when you guys went inside, I said, okay, these are two different groups, but it did take me a little bit.
Yeah.
I got a question, Coach. I didn't know the difference. But you all have to know that I live less than 4 miles from Jerry's World, candidly AT&T Stadium. And so I was actually at the very first home game against the Giants. I can tell you the stories, but I did notice that there was another group. So I did know. I just wanted to make that clear.
Well, we became a team in 2009 and became co-ed in 2014. So it's just been skyrocket from then.
It's awesome. Well, you guys do an amazing job, especially on the before game. If you guys dance outside the stadium, things like that. Yeah, it's always a great show. Yes. I also want to introduce Joanna. Miss Joanna Lopez is actually here in El Paso. And the reason why she's with us tonight is because she's been a big part of Ariel's success and how far she's come. She's extremely involved. If you follow her on social media, God, on game day Sunday, it's you could potentially just be the marketing director for this group.
Every game day, I make
absolutely. It's so awesome.
It would be if my mom had another child. Let me just.
Joanna is currently a pathologist here in a speech pathologist for an elementary school here in El Paso, correct?
Yes. Speech therapist.
I'm sorry. But it's just great. It's great to have you. So, ladies, the first thing we're gonna do for our viewers is just each of you introduce yourself, tell us your story, as briefly as you can or as much as you want, and just so you can take our viewers to who you are.
I'll go first. First and foremost, I want to introduce my little fur baby that I brought with me today.
That's awesome.
His name is Toby Gunnar Griego, and he's a pug mixed with a wiener dog. I just brought him here on today because I was a little nervous coming in today. I'm not really used to talking on camera. It's not my forte. I can dance in front of thousands, but it's hard for me to talk in front of an audience. But
95,000 to be exact.
95,000 to be exact. But no, here I am. My name's Ariel Adriana Griego. I am 21 years old. I am born and raised from El Paso, Texas. And I have been with the Cowboys going on my 4th year now. It's crazy to say that. But I'm going to go as far back as I can remember. Going back to when I was 6 years old, I remember my mom putting me on this Dallas Cowboys City League football team, which was ran by my uncle, and my cousin was playing football on that team. So I was cheering, and my cousin was playing football. And if you can insert a picture, Jorge or Javier, of me in the Dallas Cowboys cheerleader uniform next to my mom. Can you insert it? Just so.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna put it. Give us 1 minute.
So yeah, let alone it's crazy to think back on how this was my first team. Here I am.
I don't know if that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's me. I think I only did this for maybe a year or two, maybe 2 seasons. I'm not sure, but it was always cheer before dance. And I remember going into middle school, I did cheer 7th grade and 8th grade, and I was also in volleyball 7th grade. And I also did track 7th grade all the way up until senior year. So I was just very active, very into the sports scene. But yeah, moving forward, going into freshman year, high school, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do dance or cheer. And my mom had a huge influence on whether I wanted to do dance or cheer because she had a dance background in high school. So she kind of she was like, you know what? I think you should do dance. I think you're going to like it. And I went into my freshman year in high school not knowing how to do a single turn. And I ended up loving it. I did drill team all 4 years in high school, and I was also in studio team all 4 years. But going back to freshman year, I remember I was in a quinceañera, and that's how I got recruited into being in this studio hip hop team. Oh, the lights turned off. Sorry about the lighting.
Yeah, you're fine.
So yeah, I ended up being recruited from this quinceañera to go and try this hip hop class, and I ended up getting into this team. We competed local and out of town. So that was fun. I was very super busy in high school. My days would look like track in the mornings before school. I would go throughout my school day. 7th period would be my dance period. And then after school would be track. And then after track, I would go straight from track to dance to my studio dance practice. And then I would still go home having to do homework. So I would just have long days every day throughout high school. But I loved it. I loved staying busy. I loved being in that busy mindset. So yeah, moving on forward to senior year, I didn't know what I wanted to do. But I knew that I didn't want to stay in El Paso. I wanted to get out of El Paso and I've always knew that I wanted to do that. So I ended up trying out for AMDA, which is a college in LA. And AMDA stands for American Musical Dance Academy. And that was very out of my comfort zone just because this school of dance it's more tap and contemporary and lyrical. And I'm just going in as this hip hop dancer. I remember going into that audition and I was in a room full of ballet and technical dancers. And I had my lyrical routine and my hip hop routine that I had to perform in front of I want to say 3 judges that I remember. But after the process, I knew that it wasn't for me though, just because it was a super technical school and I'm not a technical dancer. I'm a hip hop dancer. So I ended up just going with it anyways. That was like my first real audition after high school. But during the time that I was waiting for the acceptance rejection letter, I was already in the process of auditioning for Cowboys. And yeah, Mom, do you want to add to that?
I do kind of want to jump in just a little bit because I think it's so funny because in her perspective, she's young. Let me introduce myself. So my name is Joanna Lopez. I am 47 years old, young. I'm 47 years young.
There you go, young.
I'm 47 years young. I did graduate from Hanks High School in '92. I am a UTEP graduate with degrees in pre-med biology and now currently in speech language pathology. So I work with kids with autism, articulation deficits, cerebral palsy, language disorders, parameters. So you can see I've got a real wide round well of, educational background, but going through life, you think you set your goals and you go for goals and you think you're going to execute them. And unless God just has a way of saying, no, this is not your path. You're going to go this way. This is not your path. You're going to go this way. Mm-hmm. So after all this has been said and done, I understand where I'm at present day, even though all the setbacks that I had getting here. I understand now, because had I not gone through my setbacks back when, I wouldn't have been able to give my daughter all the time and dedication that I wanted to give her. She's my only daughter. I wasn't able to have any more. So with that being said, the statement that I put on our bio as far as disability, because I see it every day in my school, and it's carried throughout my career and who I am. Mm-hmm. I was born a Dallas Cowboy. We were born a Dallas Cowboy family because of my father. And, and so I see this, don't focus on the disability, focus on the ability. And that can be transparent to anything, any part of your life. You got to always focus on your ability. So let's go back a little bit when Ariel was that age. Keep in mind, she was born in 2000. Okay. So we had won our last Super Bowl in 96? She hadn't even been born yet.
Yeah. She hasn't experienced a Super Bowl.
She hasn't.
And the world was going to end in 2000, remember? Because my oldest was born 4 days after the millennium. So I remember that.
Right. And so here we are, on my father's side. And keep in mind, we have a very large family on both my father's and my mom's side. But it was more my father's side who grounded us to becoming this, and Ariel didn't know what she wanted. She's a regular, typical child growing up. She was very active. I'll give her that. She was always very active. And, and getting into that cheerleading, it doesn't matter, whether she was in cheer, led up to tumbling, and tumbling led to her volleyball led to her track and dance. And see, there's a deeper perspective there where parents, if they're proactive with their kids, there's a deeper message there, because it's, parents say, well, I'm going to put my child in sports so they can be busy, so we can keep them out of trouble, kind of thing. But in a different sense, you're making them grow up and they're developing a sense of organization. They're developing a sense of self-discipline. They're developing a sense of trying new things, because at that age, who knows? We don't know anything about what we want to do in life. Never in a million years did I ever think that my daughter was going to land on the platform that she's on now, based on everything she went through in the past. But everything it served a certain purpose. And she went through a lot of trial and tribulation to get to where she was at. We went through bullying in high school. We went through, and for the girls that bullied her all through high school, I can actually say I forgive them. And because those instances that brought us together, all the times that I would look at my daughter and say, baby girl, focus on you. It's okay if we fail. We got to try again and again. And Ariel was always so fearless. She was fearless. But she did come home crying a lot, She went through, her car getting keyed. Our house was egged. Her things were sabotaged. And why? Because when she got to the high school level, people saw that, even me, when taking my family members and she would do her recitals, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, my daughter has an instinctive, she stuck out with dance. And that was when I feel like that's when she found her passion. And she just grew from there. She grew from that passion, and I supported it, because we had that ability to try all these sports that led up to that. And how awesome that having a background in dance, that I never ever pushed that on my daughter ever. I never said I want you to be a dancer because I was a dancer. No.
Yeah, Joanna. I mean, we all go through that. I can tell you that in my family. So my son, as we were talking about before we started the show, he's he's a musician pretty much, right? He loves music. He's understanding how to play multiple instruments, and I never pushed that on him. I mean, I know how to play the drums a little bit, but guitar, piano.
He played at his wedding. Don't let him lie to you. He played at his wedding.
I did.
I had a quick comment or question, because my two daughters were both in the drill team in high school, so we have a notion and sense of what you're talking about. I really wanted to focus when she said about the work that goes into it, the practices, because people don't know exactly what it takes.
Oh yeah.
You talk about bullying, you talk about whatever comes negative stuff. People are going to be people, but for instance, in our case, practice was at 6 a.m, and just because you made the team didn't mean you're going to make the performance that Friday night. Just because you made a team didn't mean you're going to be an officer. I mean, I want Ariel to talk a little bit about that, because there's so many out there that think it's just, okay, you made it once, you're done. No, it's for us, it was a week-to-week situation.
So I would say it definitely does take a toll on your body if you don't take care of yourself. Taking care of yourself mentally, spiritually, physically is the best advice I can give to a high schooler that is wanting to do anything in a sport. Just taking care of yourself mentally, spiritually, physically, doing what you have to do in order to meet your needs in practice.
And you almost, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but you almost have to understand that you're going to go way above and beyond the normal stuff, right?
Right.
We're adulting. We've been adulting for a long time, in our almost 50s. And, you hear about the 9-to-5 job and, all that stuff.
Right.
But to do the things, to be a student athlete or a student and whatever else, I mean, to be committed to things outside of just what everyone else does, it is a huge, huge commitment people don't understand. And so I want to make sure that people understand, number one, that you did it in high school, obviously. And number two, you continued on to the professional world.
Yes.
How was that jump? So we talked about, you tried out for several things. Talk to us about the moment that you got the call, let's say, from, whoever's in charge for the Dallas Cowboys for the rhythm and blues team that you were in. Talk about that moment.
Well, before you answer that question, Ariel, sorry to interrupt, but I was actually gonna say, I mean, I'm sure, like, what does that process look like, right? I mean, I'm certain the Joneses have a hand in it, right? Because they approve everything that happens with the Cowboys.
Not Jerry. I think Jerry was out there.
And then he signs off on it, and then he assigns a director. I get that, but I mean, it's not like you go like what is that process of applying or trying to make?
Can I actually talk about that process?
Yep.
So before me talking about that, before I talk about the audition process, I want to say that I didn't know I was going to audition till 2 months prior before the audition. It kind of all just fell into place. I was ready. I was more ready than nervous to go into this professional scene, and just going into just knowing that I'm going for something bigger than myself, bigger than my city, and I don't know, it just kind of all fell into place, and I just went for it. I'm a go-getter, and when I want something, I am gonna do it. I didn't necessarily think that I was scared, or I just went for it. But yeah, just going into the audition process. So there's prelims, semifinals, and finals. Every year, the audition process is different. But for my first 2 years, I want to say that it's different because COVID changed a lot of things. And but yeah, before normal times, prelims, semifinals, finals, and then you have training camp. Each round there's cuts. So after prelims, there's cuts. After semifinals, there's cuts. And this is all into a weekend. So prelims would be on Friday, semifinals would be on Saturday, and then finals would be on Sunday. And then a week from finals would be training camp. And training camp usually lasts from 3 to 4 weeks, which is like a month. And every week, at the end of each week, there are cuts. And I kept making those cuts. And it's just, honestly, it's a really good process to be in. It's not necessarily nerve-wracking in the sense of being in a professional room of dancers that come from different backgrounds. And I really enjoyed the audition process. It was very surreal for me. I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. I just, like I said, I just went for it, and I wasn't scared at all. I want
to jump in a little bit. Can I jump in a little bit?
Yeah.
You're not giving yourself enough credit, baby girl. You're not giving yourself. You had to balance school. You had to balance home. You had to balance you.
Right.
You had to make choices that maybe to other people it's not as easy. Right. But you had to make those choices to be disciplined, to get up every day, to make sure you were dependent on us. You know, you had to adapt to the abilities that you had as a little girl and establishing everywhere where you're at. So here you are. Let's go all the way to high school, and now she's faced with, guess what? Ariel got a $60,000 scholarship on a dancing. Because she knew she found her passion in dance. She found it. Mm-hmm. So here she is with AMDA. She tried out for AMDA, and then she got a $60,000 scholarship coming from NMSU. And NMSU, New Mexico State University, had a really good dance team. But while she was developing her sense of passion and going for it and waking up hard and waking up late, she sacrificed a lot. She doesn't know half of her family. A lot. When she made team, my cousins were like, oh my gosh, what? Ariel, does she know I'm her cousin? Does she even know? And I was like, she had to sacrifice not knowing a lot of family because that's how busy she was. That's how dedicated she was. That's how, you set your goals small, but she executed it. And when she would go and do like a solo performance, she would gain her confidence because she was winning. We'd, in studio, when I got together with Dad and I said, you know what, Ariel has a talent and we have to support it. Mm-hmm. And we worked it out where, he would provide that financial support for her in studio, and I would provide the financial support in her high school, everything she needed in high school. It's not easy. It is not easy. And so here you are faced with, Ariel had a mentor because there was one girl that made the team before Ariel, and she was actually Ariel's mentor. Her name was Paulina Nieto.
She was my coach for 2 years, and then she did UTEP Gold Diggers for 3 years. And after Gold Diggers, she went on to try out for Cowboys. At the time, she was 23, I believe. So she did it from 23 to, I want to say, 24. So it was 2 seasons that she was on Cowboys. And
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, Mom.
So here she is having to make a decision. Do I take a $60,000 granted? Here you go. Here's your education. Here I am at 47 and I still owe my school loans. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you know what? This is the for sure thing here.
That was a crazy moment because I didn't find out about that scholarship till I was sitting down at graduation, and I texted my mom. I was like, look for my name on the paper and look what it says next to it. And it said the 60,000 scholarship for I don't know what, but I was just in shock. I was like, wow. But during the time, I was already in training camp when I had graduated. So it was me making the decision to
It was all or nothing. And we had a talk and we said, baby girl, this is it. This is it. This is where your passion and everything that you want is going to go full force. This is it. You are going to, this is what you want. Do you want to do this? And I think I was more nervous than she was.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. It's either all in or no in.
You know what, Jorge? Ariel, till this day, I keep telling her, mija, the day you made team, I don't even think she realized what kind of platform she was on.
I for sure did.
It was another professional team that she was just so used to being so confident and so, you know, on the money. She just focused and she's like, Mom. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was out there and looking at the talent and seeing, holy mac, you know, this is awesome. My baby girl's here. I'm praying, you know, I'm praying with her because me and Ariel pray together, guys. When she's with me in my house at night, we hold hands, we pray, we ask God for guidance and strength, and we don't ask for anything. We just want guidance. And so here's all the talent being thrown at her and me, and I'm like, how do you feel about this? And I will never forget when she said, Mom, I go, how do you feel about the competition? And she said, Mom, I'm their competition. How do you respond to that? You can't. That's it. That's like, you go.
Yeah. Can I? I'm sorry. Quick. Can I quarterback just a little bit for the people listening? We have some really good comments. Number one, and I put it up there. I hope you saw it. Emilio, who's a good friend of mine in the Carolinas. I'm sorry, Emilio. I don't remember if it's north or south. Well done, Joanna. Ariel has done a fantastic job. And then Brian Dobbs, who's a friend from here, wanted to say hi to your puppy. So if I understand this correctly, you had a $60,000 scholarship to one group, but you were already in training camp for the Dallas Cowboys Rhythm and Blue group. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's important. Let me tell you why. As sports fans, there's been a lot of, not us, meaning not my brother and I, but there's been a lot of athletes who have that moment to choose whether they're going to take their first, let's call it job in life or career in life to taking the scholarship. And can you tell us a little bit about how that decision came to be?
For me, I've always been super smart in school. I always say dance, if I have the opportunity to dance first in school, I'm going to take that. I'm not going to be able to dance forever. But school is always going to be there. I have never been really school driven in that sense, but I've always been, dance has always been my priority. It's been my dream since I
disagree. I think Ariel, when it comes to school, and if she wants to put her heart into it, she's going to do well and she's going to execute like no one's business. I know that. Can vouch for that.
Well, I think what happens, Joanna, sorry to interrupt, but I think what happens, and we see it with all our kids, right? I think what happens is that when you so committed to an extracurricular activity, whether it's dance, whether it's sports, whether it's whatever it may be, it drives you to do well in school, right? So it might not be, at the top of mind, but it becomes very important and critical to your future.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
I've always told Ariel, I don't care what you do in life, as long as you do it with your heart. And I think that's something that she made that choice because she knew in her heart that she was good enough to do this. And no one had ever made the team younger than 21 years of age. So if you follow your heart, you can't go wrong. And I know that I felt that for her.
Right.
I was going to interrupt there for just a moment when you said that about 21, because I did my research, and Ariel, you made the team as an 18-year-old, and I Googled you and got a number of hits from the El Paso Times where they did various articles on when you made the team, and we can't share them all, but if people want to literally Google her name and El Paso Cowboys Rhythm and Blues, she was interviewed various times and things like that. There was one video where it was a little emotional And I know, my wife and I know what that feels like. We both left around 18, 19 years old. We left El Paso a long time ago, not recently, 30 years ago actually. We have a sense of what that is to leave El Paso. But you hold, and for the rest of the time, as we say, you hold that record of being the only 18-year-old. What was that like to not only be that age and then come to Big D, to Big Dallas, to join the group?
I was honestly ready. I was ready to be around so many dancers that are so motivated and inspiring. And I was so fortunate enough to be blessed to be on this team with so many like-minded individuals that push me to be my best version of myself every day. Being 18, coming into this team, I was just soaking it all in. I was learning, I was growing, I was observing. I did everything I could to be successful on my first year. And I want to say, I think my first year was one of my best years, just because I got to experience a lot of things, being the youngest one and being the baby on the team. There was a gap. I was 18 and there was a gap 23 and up.
Oh, wow.
I was the baby. They call me Mija. They call me Mija on the team. Like I'm the baby. And it was just surreal. I honestly, like my mom said, I didn't know what kind of platform I had on my first year. I was starstruck. It was surreal for me. I thought I was just on another team, but I represent Cowboys. I represent this America's team, this huge organization in the NFL. That's something to be so greatly proud of. And I just, to this day, it's still mind blowing for me.
Well, and a franchise that is now worth $7.2 billion, right? In the
Right.
first list.
Right.
Ariel and Joanna, I know, a lot of the comments that you all made when you wrote your bio and sent it over to us was around family, right? And you both have already attested to, how important family is and how it's been significant to you both. Talk to us just briefly about that. How much, you all think family is important and how much it's mattered to Ariel's career and really made a difference. While we do that, we're going to show some pictures of your family.
Yes, Mom. I'm going to go first. I think I would definitely not be here where I am today without my mom or my dad. I'm getting emotional. I definitely, they are my backbone, my support. And even though they have given me everything in life, they have taught me that you have to earn what you want and what you want to go for in life. Not everything's going to be given to you, like the way my mom and dad have always provided for me. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't be here where I am today if it weren't for my parents, 100%. I love my family. I love how supportive they are. My first year, I went home and they threw like a huge Cowboys party for me. I just wish my grandpa was here to be able to witness that I've been on Cowboys team, because he was a big Cowboys fan. We would always go to his house and watch the Cowboys games, and here I am dancing for the Cowboys. It's crazy.
Ariel, if you could take this moment to tell Grandpa, something, because Grandpa's here. He's listening to this podcast. He's watching you every game day dancing, and today he's very proud of you. Very just as emotional for your sacrifices and your commitments.
Yes.
What do you want to tell Grandpa?
I want to say, Grandpa, I'm going to buy your ticket and flight next week so you can come see me dance on Monday Night Football. And I just want to say that I love you so much and I miss you so much. That's what I would say. That he's going to come next week to see me dance.
Yes, he is. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to know. Your mom mentioned this. So we use the. Let me see if I've got this picture here. Yeah, your signature move is the hair from one side to the other.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit if that's. Tell us about that.
So, as you guys know, I have very long hair, and it's a skill to dance with the hair that I have, let me tell you. If I did not know how to move around, maneuver with my hair while dancing, I would have not made the team. Just because I have to just get it out of my face, you know what I mean? It's a skill. But it all started, I think, my freshman year or sophomore year. I don't know how it started, but I just remember doing pep rallies. I would have pep rallies, and it was me and my friend. We would do duets, and I would do like my signature hair whips, and everyone would go crazy. I remember my first year auditioning during like groups when we would switch off groups, and they would want to see the choreo that we had learned. When they would say freestyle, I would just whip my hair. I wouldn't know what else to do. That was just my signature thing. And I remember my friend telling me like, hey, do something different. Like, it looks good, but do something different next time. Because that was just like my go-to. And it's still my go-to. Whenever we're bringing back freestyle this Monday for the game. We haven't done freestyle rounds for the past 2 years because of COVID. Mm-hmm. And so we're bringing back freestyle. And so best believe I'm going to be flipping my hair on Monday.
Oh, that's awesome. It's perfect timing against the Eagles, who will massively beat as well.
Yes. We better.
I won't be anywhere near the Philadelphia, and I hope you heard that pronunciation. The Philadelphia Eagles. There's not a lot of sports things that I hate. I do hate the Philadelphia Eagles. And so I don't have any place to be near them, but maybe later on down the season I will come to a home game. I have all confidence in the world that we're going to be successful in that ball game, and it is Monday night. There's a special magic on Monday night. So I wish you certainly everything in the world, great performance, great game, and certainly the Dallas Cowboys.
It's so funny how my daughter talks about how she was so ready to spread her wings. But as parents who support their kids, especially me, that I had an only daughter, we have a lot of fear, but yet a lot of hope. And you have to remember the why. Because even still till today, like, I miss her so much, so much, right?
I bet.
So here's my daughter graduating from high school. And if I could have one moment with my father, and not just my dad, but my whole family, what a moment that would have been to have to witness that with me the day that she actually made the team, because it was like they were all outside. We were at the Star. The director tells them to turn around, and there's a huge, screen behind them saying, congratulations. It was like, I didn't even know what to do with myself. I didn't know. I could hear my dad. It wasn't very expressively, he wouldn't say he's proud of it. He would just show it in action. So I could hear my dad saying something like, and party and
that's so awesome.
And just loving every moment of that, soaking it all in. And then reality sets in, and I'm thinking, we had 2 weeks to get her out there. 2 weeks to get her out there. And I'm thinking, oh my God.
Only 2 weeks?
2 weeks. Just 2 weeks. And her dad was just such an awesome support system for her that way. And I don't think I feel half as comforted as I am, as because he's been there as well, 100%. But I would fear, like, she's barely getting used to driving here, 18. And now I'm throwing her out in Dallas freeways, and I don't have a sense of area. Where are you? You better,
My brother knows a thing or two about that.
let me put my sense in. I was ready. My mom was scared because she till this day she doesn't like driving in Dallas, but I was ready to explore and be on these new freeways. Like I was ready.
And you do great, let me tell you. I never go behind the wheel when I'm in Dallas. It's Ariel. But then, where are you? You better call me. And she's used to, I have to hear her in the morning and at night and during the day. And then she'll send me a location. And I'm like, I have a love-hate relationship with technology. Location, where is that? You know, like, I don't know where she is. I don't want to think negative. You gotta, you know, taking, you know, having to be positive takes practice. Having to be optimistic takes a lot of practice. So
Joanna, let me put you at ease a little bit. I came, my wife and I both came about her age 30 years ago, and we had to look up maps in books in paper,
no cell phones
to get around, and we had to know where north, east, west, south was. You know, now it's a little easier. You just put it in your phone, and there you go. But now we have children who are her age, and it's the same. Even though we're in the same metroplex area, well, our youngest moved south to Corpus Christi, but same kind of thing. But a couple of things that I'll tell you is children are resilient. The things that we think are going to be catastrophic for them are not. You know, she keeps saying that she was ready. She was eager to explore. She was eager to get out of her comfort zone. She took advantage of the opportunity. The things that we worry about, I mean, not that we don't have to worry. We will always worry. I mean, my wife's grandmother always told us, you could be 60 years old, I'm still going to worry about you.
Yep.
Right.
So that's never going to change. But I exactly know what you're saying on both sides, not only as a kid who left, but now as a parent who's here. So she's going to be just fine. She's going to be just fine. And, you know, now we met each other. Now she knows we're here. If there's a bad, situation, a flat tire or whatever, you know, I'm around here. So no worries.
And I hate to interrupt you, but we actually found out we had family in Dallas that we hadn't even connected with.
You didn't even know.
In years. And it's just been so awesome. We have an awesome family from her side, from dad to her grandparents on his side, support system, me, my father, my mom's side, our cousins. I mean, Ariel has just done such an amazing job of doing what she does because she loves it. It comes from her heart. And I have to support anything she does, and I will, 100%.
She's going to be great. She's going to be great.
She's been doing it for 4 years, and so I can't wait to see what's next. You know, people are always asking me, why don't you move to Dallas? Why do you, why because I'm a big Chiona, but I told Ariel, I made a promise. I'm like, I'm not going to water work, and she water worked.
Yeah.
I know, we were talking about that earlier.
Well, she's going to be great. She's just going to be fine. She's got a big game coming up Monday night. Monday night's a big game anywhere. In the spirit of time, and because my brother, I'm sure people are waiting for him for his birthday. We end the show always with a couple of points that you want to leave people who will listen to the show now, who will listen to it later, in the spirit of finding, opportunities from problems. We call it crystallization. 1 or 2 points from both of you. Just let it, leave us with a couple of thoughts behind.
I'll go first. First, I want to say, don't underestimate yourself. I can come from a lot of self-doubt sometimes, and I can lack confidence, but it's just a matter of knowing your own strengths and knowing what you're capable of, because you're more than capable of reaching your own dreams, no matter what kind of background you come from. There may be times where you might not feel good enough, but you have to know your own strength and you have to push through your own limitations, because if you don't believe in yourself, no one else is going to believe in you. So yeah, I would say treat every day as a new opportunity, because you never know who you can run into, or you never know what you might put yourself into. But I would just say, just know your worth. Remember, we only have one life, and God makes no mistakes. So go for what you want. Don't be scared. If you mess up, that's fine. You learn from your mistakes. and you keep on forward. You keep on moving. That's what I would say.
I want to tell parents to constantly be positive reinforcers to their kids. And with that being said, Ariel Adriana, I am super proud of you for accepting this invitation, getting out of your comfort zone and talking about your experiences with me and with everyone else who is going to view this. And everybody has a responsibility to make choices. And we have a responsibility to know what we're going to do with our time. So that saying that says people who are successful doesn't always go to the wiser or faster man. Success comes to the person who says he can. And my daughter has done that because she said she could. And she followed through in a big way.
I love you.
Absolutely.
Joanna, it's I hear you. Actually, I hear you both, you too, Ariel, and it gives me goosebumps and chills to hear your story. I know it hasn't been easy. I know it's been a very big road. People sometimes we don't understand the difficulty that comes behind this. So I just want to congratulate you both for what you're doing, for your future and endeavors and just keep going. Thank you so much for being with us today. Ariel, I know that I try to go Cowboy games a few years apart, so now I know somebody I can walk up to and say hello to.
Yes.
And Mom, you've done an amazing job.
Thank you.
Your support, your excitement is very palpable, and it was just great having you both in the show.
Thank you. Ariel has a surprise for your birthday. You were gonna do something.
Oh, yes, but I totally forgot, and I even forgot my charger, and someone had a charger, and I was looking up. Anyways, I have a picture for you, a squad picture, and I'm gonna sign it. I was gonna sign it right now.
Oh, awesome.
I was gonna sign it right now, but I'll dedicate it just for you, just for your birthday.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'll send it to you. You're the one that lives in Arlington, right?
No, I'm the one in El Paso.
Oh, in El
My
Paso.
brother is in the one. Yeah. As you can see, I do collect. Dak's right behind me.
Right.
There's the old Globe Life Ranger Stadium. So I do collect stuff from Arlington.
Yeah.
From
So
sports franchises.
when my mom comes this Saturday, I'll sign it and then send it back with her. So
You're
can
awesome.
send it to you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Ariel.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys so much for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Absolutely, for the time. Time is the most precious thing we have
Yes.
because we don't get it back. And so we always want to be mindful of that and respectful of that. Thank you for your gift and for your story. I want to invite you to come back because 1 hour is really not enough to really cover all this. So I wanted to tell you that I'm a betting man, and the Cowboys are +3, which is not. It's an insult to a home team, but
okay.
I'm going to declare a win on the Cowboys. I'm not going to give a score yet because I'm not ready for that, but I'm already excited about it. But I want to thank the people who are listening, live today, and who will listen. Thank you for the time and your time again, because we don't get it back. It's the most precious thing we have. So after a wonderful time together and a wonderful show, for my brother Jorge, this is Problems.
And for my brother and Opportunities. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you.